The government is spending more money on fossil fuels that are accelerating these climate catastrophes. This government has been sold to the highest bidder on our watch and in our name. What we heard was a last-ditch plea for votes in the dying days of this shambles of a government. Doesn't take much to see through the lies and the bluster with these mob. While last night's speech began with Morrison's treasurer paying lip service to the climate floods, extreme climate events like these being fuelled by the coal and gas, dirty, polluting fossil fuels that Liberal and Labor only want to increase. This budget gives $37.6 billion in fossil fuel subsidies of taxpayer money that will go directly into the profits of the massive corporations that bankroll the Liberal Party's coffers. Instead of investing in the restoration of Australia's biodiversity, public money will instead be spent on bypassing environmental protection to fast-track environmental approval for their fossil fuel mates. Further billions will be spent on dams that will destroy critical habitats and pollute our Great Barrier Reef. But when you read the budget, it's clear that they can't keep people safe and they can't manage the economy. They are selling us out. There are over 3 million people living in poverty. There are millions of people trapped in insecure work, on low wages and in unaffordable housing. For the people who are worried about bushfires or how they're going to cope with the next heat wave or how to rebuild their homes after worsening disasters, once again, you have been abandoned because the government is spending more money on fossil fuels that are accelerating these climate catastrophes. What a joke! Are they trying to buy their way back into office? Their claims on wages are farcical. Wages growth has been below 3% for the entire time this government has been in power. But now we're expected to believe that the wages are going to suddenly grow by 5% over the next 3 months? Well, here's the real story. This budget funds and fuels the climate crisis. Morrison and his cronies are hell-bent on destroying country, the land, skies and waters that First Nations people have cared for and sustained for generations. Our environment is in crisis and this budget is making our land sicker. It makes housing more expensive. There is $13 billion of public money going into housing investors, but nothing to build more affordable homes. It won't lift wages. It will make the cost of living increase, and it will lock us into tax cuts only for the wealthy. This is another budget for the billionaires and the big corporations. They're looking after their mates, after their donors, while squandering our precious resources. The climate crisis is caused by mining and the burning of coal and gas. And they just don't want us to burn more of it, they also want us to pay for it. Coal and gas corporations are not only getting huge handouts, they're offshoring their profits tax-free, and it's costing every single Australian. 23 gas companies who sell gas overseas together made $49 billion in revenue. Between them, they didn't pay a single cent of tax. If that were you and I, this would in fact be criminal. In 2020-2021, Woodside donated $232,000 to the Liberal, National and Labor parties. In return, they've given them handouts to build one of the worst gas projects in the world. They're robbing teachers, nurses, childcare educators, aged care workers to pay Woodside, Santos and Whitehaven. And that's not how you manage the economy. You can't keep people safe if you keep backing more coal and gas. Right now, there are 114 new coal and gas projects in the pipeline across this continent, on country. These projects will increase the amount of pollution in the atmosphere by 1.3 billion tonnes per year. Yet, in a mere 240 years since colonisation, our people have watched in horror and dismay as these governments of this country, one after another, have acted in their own short-term interests. This government fails to see the full picture. It's failing our children and our future generations to come. For First Nations people, this budget is just more of the same. If the government is serious about justice and equality for First Nations people, there needs to be real investment for First Nations communities. Our people are dying in custody. There is no treaty with the First Nations people, only band-aid solutions from a government with no real vision for the future. Nowhere is this felt more than in my own state of Western Australia. Western Australia is already one of the hottest places in the world. It's been identified as a climate hotspot. This year alone, the Pilbara hit 50 degrees. The number of days per year over 40 degrees in Perth has doubled. But this government isn't just fast-tracking projects like the Scarborough Gas Project, they're also giving them, in this budget, an additional $300 million to fund gas projects in the Northern Territory. Scarborough alone won't just wreck the planet, but it will do irreversible damage to the Murujuga rock art and the Seven Sisters songline. So your taxes are paying to destroy our cultural heritage. Shame. That's why we have to kick the Liberals out and put the Greens into balance of power. We have a plan to build 1 million affordable homes, we will cap rents, we will give renters more rights, and we will abolish the outrageous tax breaks for people who are investing in their 4th, 5th, 20th and 30th home, driving up prices so other people are forced to live in their cars. We will ban all new coal and gas projects and invest in the transition for a cleaner, greener economy. And we will pay for it by making billionaires and big corporations pay their fair share of tax. And that's not all. In balance of power, the Greens will get dental and mental health into Medicare. Where this government has let us down, the Greens will keep fighting for our communities, our climate, and for a safer future for all of us. Thank you.
Authorised by J. McCall, Australian Greens, Canberra.